Hi, maths is fun. Let's learn. Before we move on to the new session, these are the answers for the questions that I have given you in the previous videos. Please verify your answers. Now the final part is finding the missing values. So when you find the missing values, here you have here right hand side and you have left hand side here, right? So now root 32, I don't want to shift the place, so I'm giving it in the same place. Now minus will become positive when you change to the other side, or yeah, so it will become positive root m. You already have here minus negative 4 root 2. I want to shift the place, so like I said, what will happen to negative sign? Good. So positive 4 root 2. Now this is pretty much good. Now next part is, this is addition between the radicals. Now as you know that when you are adding two radicals, what do you have to do? What is the condition first of all? So the condition is the radicals has to be same as well as the values. So in this case I cannot add. Why? Because the square root has 32 here and this has square root 2. So they are totally different. So you cannot add, not subtract. Now what to do? This 32 you need to reduce it. So break it down. So as you know that 32 is given by 8 times 4, right? Then plus 4 root 2 equals to positive. So positive, even if you don't write the sign, it's the same thing. Then this 8 again breaks down into 2 into 4 is 8. Then you already have 4 present. So 4 root 2 equals to root m. Now see, this 4 is repeating twice. For a square root, to get out of the root, a number should repeat one more time, right? So that's why the 4 gets out of the root. So you have 4 root 2 plus 4 root 2 equals to root m. Now, can you add? Yes? So of course, because you have root 2 and root 2 is both are square root and both have same values. So now the outside value, outside of this is 4 plus outside of this is also 4. So then this is equal to root m. Oh sorry, did I miss something? Yeah, I forgot to write this root 2, right? Now you have 4 plus 4 is 8. So 8 root 2 equals to root m. Are we done? No, right? Why? Because you are asked to find m and we still don't know square root of, we are not asked to find square root of m. We have to find the main value of m. Now what to do? Now it's very easy. When we reach here, what are we going to do? So you just have to put this 8 inside. So square root has already 2 inside. If I want to bring 8 inside, what will happen? Yeah, to get outside, if it has to have two partners, if it has to have a pair, that means to get inside also you need to have a pair. So you have 8 times 8. So you got the logic, right? Because there 8 is repeating twice in a square root, it gets out. If you want to bring it inside, you need to repeat it twice. So simple as it is. Then this is equal to root m. So finally square root of 8 into 8 is 64 and 64 times 2 is 128 equals to square root of m. Now tell me, what is the value of m? Yes, square root, both same, which means value of m is equal to 128. So this is how we find out. Can you tell me, if you have to multiply two radicals, what is the condition? Instead of multiplying here, because root m is already alone here in the numerator, what I will do is directly I'm going to shift this root 30. Square root of 30 is being multiplied here. If I take to other side, square root of 30 will get divided with whatever value is there in the other side. Okay, so now you have root m is equal to, now because these square roots are being divided, I can use single square root, right? Then this brings me to 6 1 is 6, 6 5 is 30. So I have 5 times root 1 over 5. Now you know that square root of 1 is equal to 1. So whether you write square root of 1 or 1, it's the same. So now I'll still not be able to determine what is m. So when you reach here, what are you going to do? So only if you have something like square root of m is equal to square root of there is some value here, then only you can compare this and then find the value of m. So m which is inside the square root would be same as the value which is inside the square root. So this should be the main idea. So yes, try to think about yourself. What would you do? I'll give you 3 seconds. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is 5 inside the square root, I should make sure that it repeat twice, right? So which means, are this value equal? Absolutely equal, right? So instead of writing 5, I'm going to write 5 times 5. Now you already have in the denominator root 5, so gets cancelled. So finally what I have in hand is square root of m is equal to square root of 5. So you remember the previous logic, square root, which means the value inside the square root m will be equal to value inside the square root 5 square root, which is 5. So finally you got the answer, that is m equals to 5. Final example. So let us solve this question, okay, together. Yeah, so now first I'll try to multiply. So multiplying means both are square root here, so I can combine the roots and the inside value gets multiplied. Then you have divided by n square equals to root of 5, square root of 5. Now again I want to combine the, because it is division and both are square root, I can combine and make use of only one root, square root, right? So now this brings me up to, what do you mean by n square? N square, if I expand, it means n times n, right? Since this is true, so above you have in the numerator 1n, in the denominator 2n, so which means 1n is left. Now it brings me to 35 over n equals to root 5. Now my aim is to find n, so I need to make it alone. So for that matter, I'm going to write it individually. Then I'll shift the place of n. So root n is being divided in this side. If you cross the equal to sign, it will get, yes, multiplied. Now my aim was to bring only n alone, right? So what is the use for this root 5, square root of 5? So it's time for you to shift the square root of 5 too. So square root of 5 is being multiplied in this side. If you take to the other side, it will get, yes, divided. Now you combine the root, because both are square root and it's dividing, so you can do that. Then 5 1 is 5, 5 7 is 35. So you have square root of 7 equals to square root of n. Now see here, square root, same, which means inside the square root there is 7, inside the square root there is n, so your value of n is equal to 7. I hope you understood, and I have few questions for you to check your understanding. Bye bye.